Hi again then guys, and welcome to episode 3 of Forget Your Warranty, the review series for Gran Turismo's selection of aftermarket tuner cars, some of which are for competition racing, some are for drifting, some are more street based. And in this particular pick, we're featuring a vehicle which kind of straddles the line between two. It's kind of a competition vehicle, but it's also kind of a street car, because you can buy many of the parts from this car on your street-going version. And this, I have to say, is one of my favourite tuner cars in the game, purely for its looks. And it's the Amuse S2000 GT1. Now, there are two versions of this car featured on the game, and we will be featuring both of them in different episodes of this series. For now, though, we are featuring the better of the two, the premium S2000 GT1 Turbo. The non-premium model, although having the same price, is nowhere near as good. So, in the case of this car, what can you expect if you buy one? Well, first of all, you can expect a pretty high price for a tuner car. 250 grand is a lot, and both of them cost that much. All things considered, that is race car money, or supercar money, and supercars and race cars are quite formidable opponents, to say the least. So can this aftermarket tuner car compete at that level? Given that it's not designed just to be a pretty face, it's actually designed to be quick around the track. Well, to some degree, yes, it is a good track weapon, but in a very specific way. If you purchase this car and expect it to beat everything you come up against, GT3s, JGTCs, even prototypes, say, detuned ones, then you're going to be disappointed, because it's not that calibre of car. If, however, you take it up against other tuner cars, or street cars, and some race cars, such as, say, some of the lower level touring cars, or cup cars, then it will do well. Because this car knows its place. It knows what it is, and it doesn't try to be more. It doesn't claim that it's more than it is. It doesn't handle or have a spec which belies how bad or good it actually is. It sits where it is, it does what it wants to do, and it does it well. The problem is, people tend to overestimate cars like this. They see a flashy looking car and automatically assume that that means it's going to be amazing. And although this car is good, it's not amazing. And some people will argue with that because they want it to be better than it actually factually is. Because this car is powered by a slightly bored out engine compared to the regular S2000, a 2.3 litre turbo, and it does have a decent spec. Similar power to the HKS Evo at 646 horsepower, and very respectable torque for an S2000, 440 foot-pounds. It's also reasonably light at 1120 kilos, puts out 577 horsepower per tonne, and sits at, I would say, a reasonable PP, 601. However, when you look at this car, it's easy to assume, given the name GT1 and given the picnic table sized wing and the amazing looking body kit, that this is going to be a car which is seriously fast. It is seriously fast, but although it has GT1 in the name and the fancy looks, and it looks kind of like a homologation car, you have to bear in mind that the car does not claim that it's a competition machine. The car's not pretending to be an actual homologation car. It knows what it is. It's a tuner car, and it remains firmly planted in that category. So as long as you don't expect too much of this car, you won't be disappointed. If you're expecting this to take on any of the other cars in the game with GT1 in the name, then you're quite frankly going to be disappointed, because it is no way near as fast as any of the other actual GT1 cars. However, it's inspired by those cars. It's not trying to take them on around the track. And there's a big difference between those two things. This is kind of an homage to those cars, not a rival to them. And many people seem to wrongly assume, understandably so, but still wrongly, that it is a GT1 level competition machine, and it quite simply isn't. it's a racing-inspired tuner car. Now, as far as straight-line performance, it's not as quick, quite frankly, as I would have liked, because this car is predominantly a track machine. It has a huge amount of downforce. It's designed primarily for grip and acceleration. Top speed would be nice though, given that the regular production S2000 is significantly quicker than this car for top speed, despite it having less power. The regular S2000 could do around 220 under its own power. This car struggles once it gets up around 180. That's kind of disappointing to someone like me who likes racing top speed cars, but at the same time, given the amount of downforce and how much drag that causes, it's not surprising that the top speed isn't that great. And that is kind of a recurring theme with aftermarket cars, that their top speeds generally aren't all that amazing. Around the track though, it is a good car. It's not a race car beater, but it is a road car beater. It's a strong middle ground between the two. And although 250 grand is quite a lot, all things considered, if you are specifically a fan of the Honda S2000, if you're a fan of aftermarket tuner cars, or if you just like this car for the way it looks, which is me personally, then you won't be disappointed. If, however, you're expecting to use this in every race possible and win every time, that's just not going to happen. So, if you do want to purchase this car, realise what you're getting into, realise that it's not the best thing since sliced bread, it's just a good car in its own way. So, that's it for this episode. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.